Copyright University of Auckland, all rights reserved. The content and delivery of lectures in this course are protected by copyright. Material belonging to others may have been used in these lectures and copied by and solely for the educational purposes of the university under license. You may record the lectures for the purposes of private study or research, but you may not sell, alter, or further reproduce or distribute any part of these lectures to any other person. Failure to comply with the terms of this warning may expose you to legal action for copyright infringement by the copyright owner and/or disciplinary action by the university.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jean-Christophe Gaya, for hosting us in the very prestigious university, and also Pak Jesse, who visited us in the last July, I think, in the last July with a group of students who make a long trip to Indonesia. As Jean-Christophe already mentioned, that a very clear introduction of me. I'm from Universitas Gadjah Mada. Actually, now we have a mission from southern part of Auckland to the northern part of Auckland, because we have a very close cooperation with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. We have funding to do the project related to the community development and also welfare in the eastern part of Indonesia. And this time, actually, we take the opportunity to enlarge the cooperation and also to seek the collaboration with the universities in New Zealand. And in this opportunity, I would like to talk about volcanic landscape of Indonesian archipelago, and with approach from nature to the society. This is actually very general overview about volcanic landscape in Indonesia, and I would like also to direct your attention to some physical and also social aspect of the volcanoes, and also the implication on the disaster. Maybe you are interested to do some field trip and or some research in Indonesia. And maybe some of you already visited many volcanoes in Indonesia. We can discuss about. But before I go into detail regarding to the volcano, I would like to give you a very short introduction about Indonesia. Maybe some of you already are very familiar with my country. Indonesia is located, maybe from here, 10 hours by flight. We have around 17,000 islands. Within the island, I think that you believe me that we have this such big island. And if you don't, you can calculate by yourself. 17,000 islands, which is stretched from the west, from the Sumatra. We have five main islands: Sumatra, Java, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and Papua. And also some others with small islands. And we have more than 80,000 kilometers of the coastline from the whole country. And one of the main island is a Java Island. Actually, this is located the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta. And the Indonesian archipelago, we have the population number of this country is more than 2,500 million people, with 60% are living in this island. And this island, Java Island, is only about 6% of the national territory. So meaning that we have inequally distributed population from inside Java and outside of Java, due to the development process and the centralization of the development at Java Island. But nowadays, the government of Indonesia would like to strengthen the development of outside of Java within development of infrastructure especially in the eastern part of Indonesia, in order to strengthen the connectivity among the islands. This is the big mission of our president now. And we are located here. We are located in Yogyakarta city. Yogyakarta Special Region, which is located around 30 kilometers from one of the most active volcano in Indonesia, Morapi Volcano, which is very, very active. And we are located at Universitas Gadjah Mada here. So it's just a small, very small introduction regarding to Yogyakarta. Yogyakarta is one of the cultural region of Indonesia, and also we have more than 3.5 million inhabitants, maybe 2 times of Auckland maybe. And we are recognized as a city of education because of the number of the universities in Yogyakarta. More than 130 universities in this city, with 3 big state universities and the rest are private universities. And also our university hosted the students from the west part to the eastern part of Indonesia, which is very diverse. So the diversity of the Yogyakarta is represented by the number of the students and the diversity of the students who are living in this campus. This is actually short view about our campus. This is the central building, and this one actually the graduate school that we have. And with all the campus we have 18 faculties, yeah, with 2 schools, graduate and also postgraduate school and also vocational schools, and with around 57,000 students from the bachelor, master, and so PhD student, and more than 2,500 faculty members, with discipline from the health, agro-sciences, science and technology, and also the social community. So Universitas Gadjah Mada is one of the most comprehensive university in Indonesia. This is actually the faculty that we have for the entire university. And just for the short view about what happened in our campus, this is for representing the new students and the gathering of the students in our campus. This is actually student orientation. We make the formation of the Garuda, which is our nation, our country, the sign of our country with the flags of Indonesia. And then the last week before I go to New Zealand, we also have student orientation, and we gather in the center field of campus. And because of by the end of 2015, we are moving to ASEAN single community, so we have the sign of the ASEAN. It's around 9,000 students are going together in this area. So I would like to move on the volcano. Yeah, this is actually Morapi volcano, which is located at, as I said before, around 25 kilometers from my campus. This is the Yogyakarta city is located, and just for the overview that the volcano, yeah, this is one of the most active volcano in Indonesia, and also the most instrumented volcano in Indonesia, with all the early warning system, and also a lot of research are going on in this volcano. So we are talking about the distribution of the volcano in Indonesia. Why so Indonesian archipelago is so rich with the volcano, with the high density of the volcano. This is a map from USGS showing us the spatial distribution of the volcano, ranging from the Sumatra, Java, and also Bali, Lombok, and etc. And this is from Sulawesi, and then go to Philippines. Yeah, we have around more than 120 active known volcanoes in Indonesia, meaning that we still have unknown volcanoes and a submarine volcano that is not explored yet in the country. So within this volcano, now we have some volcano tend to be active. From the Sumatra, we have Sinabung volcano. In Java, we have recently in 2010 the eruption of the Morapi, located at Central Java, and also Kelut recently last year in 2014 in February. And also we have one volcano around in this one at the east of Java recently, maybe in the month of July we have the eruption, and also some other volcano at Ternate that our research are going on in the Ternate here, yeah. This small element, what we call it Kamalama, yeah, and other volcanoes, meaning that with the high population density of Indonesia, the knowledge regarding to the eruption and the behavior of the volcano is necessary to be understand by the people of Indonesia. However, the volcanology monitoring system of the volcano of Indonesia is still very limited. So within the number of the volcano and the number of the volcanoes is not balanced. So this is actually the challenge of Indonesia to monitor all the volcano, and also to strengthen the understanding of the community regarding the volcanic risk. Example of the Java itself, we have the volcano ranging from the West Java. This is the capital. The capital is very dense. Yeah, the population density, the number of population more than 11 million there, and also this is the Morapi that we are talking about. Yeah. So why does the number of volcanoes is so high? Because of we know that Indonesia is actually the conjunction among the plate different of the plate tectonic plate from Eurasiatic and also Australia plate. So we are very high and very major subduction zone in this area, meaning that along Sumatra, along the west part and the southern and west part of Sumatra and Java, southern part of Java, we have a lot of volcanoes as the consequences of the subduction zone across the Indonesia. This is what we have, why we have a lot of volcano there, and so. Now, regarding to the volcanic eruption, actually, we have some example here that before 2004, volcanic eruption is the leading of the cause of mortality related to the natural disaster of the country. But after the tsunami 2004, caused by the big earthquake at the Sumatra, so the tsunami is in the high ranking regarding to the mortality. And in the last 2 centuries, we have the eruption made from that more than 175,000 victims, caused by direct eruption or primary hazard or secondary hazard, or the consequences after the prolonged period of the crisis. For example, in some cases that actually the victim is not caused by directly of the eruption of the volcano, but during the evacuation period there are the chaos of the refugee. This is some example that and the victim is also so important. So this is the example of some major catastrophic volcanic eruption in Indonesia. We have, for example, in 1711 at Maluku, actually the hazards is very diverse here. We have primary hazard and also secondary hazards, which is very common. Is actually lahars that occur in some volcanoes in Indonesia just after the eruption. So at Papandayan, and the biggest eruption that recorded during the history, actually one of this is Krakatoa. I would like to talk about this. the Krakatoa at 1883 with more than 36,000 victims, and it caused not only the pyroclastic flow and also the asphalt, but also the big tsunami at the time. And in Java, Kelut, for example, Morapi is quite frequent, yeah, because of the type of the volcano, yeah, the type of the volcano. And Morapi, for example, we have a very typical of a stratovolcano, which is yeah, more or less every 4 years the eruption is taking place. Okay, this is for understand about the magnitude of the eruption compared related to the volume of the materials and also the energy released by the eruption and also the frequency. Some volcanoes in Indonesia we have from very small eruption, what we call it a very effusive, and slightly explosive, and then come to a very big eruption, yeah, super volcanic like Toba, yeah, it 75,000 before present. So some overview regarding to the type of the eruption and the hazards, the associated hazards from effusive eruption, slightly explosive to a catastrophic eruption. For example, here we have Kelut, yeah, Kelut eruption located at the east part of Java, which is erupted last year in 2014 with a quite big eruption with a volcano explosivity index reached number 4. But here I would like to show you the eruption at 2007. Actually, we have some sign of the eruption, because the monitoring system of the Kelut is not as sophisticated as the Morapi. So we luckily we have some monitoring system with the camera installed in that area in order to monitor the color of the water. And one of the good sign, good indicator in order to see what is the indicator to be understand that the volcano will erupt, actually the change of the color of the water of the lake. Yeah, the lake actually is about the volume of the water is about 20 million cubic meters of the water. So if we see the change of the color from the 8th October till to 29th of October, just before the eruption, we have very major color difference caused by the presence of the sulfur, and the temperature is also high. What we were worrying actually with the hazards of the Kelut, actually the potential lahar, eruptive lahar caused by the presence of the water. And luckily it was during the eruption, because of the type of the effusive eruption, and then the lava dome developed very quickly, and the presence of the lava dome make the water evaporated. So meaning that all the water at the lake are evaporated, that the hazards of the shin eruptive lahar is zero. So this is actually the view of the eruption, effusive eruption at 2007. But last year, this is actually the dome just before the eruption of Kelut, the eruption in February, and this is we have the opportunity to take the photo just before the eruption. And actually the lava dome is now destroyed because of the change of the behavior of the Kelut eruption, become very explosive. This is actually from the QI about the development of lava dome, that it was actually developed at 2007 eruption. And then we took the picture at April 2014. That's the lava dome is just destroyed because of the pressure of the magma is very high. Then they destroy this lava dome, and now the lava dome is still absent, but the development is quite slowly. So within the slightly explosive eruption, we also have Semeru. Is located at east of Java. Actually, this is quite frequent, like Morapi that we have, but the eruption is only few minutes and very rhythmic. According to in the closed system, is not associated with the presence of water at the crater. Is slightly different with the previous one with the presence of the water. Okay, this is actually different type of the eruption. This is actually Morapi eruption, which is characterized by the presence of the pyroclastic flow caused by the collapse of the lava dome. Then all the material here and the pyroclastic density current flowing down through the volcanic flank till and fill all the drainage and the river coming from the crater. This is actually very typical of pyroclastic density current at Morapi. And the eruption of 2010, it ejected all the pyroclastic material, more than 160 million cubic meters of material that are covering all the upper part of the river. That's why since 2011, in the early of the 2011, the lahars are very frequent until 2013, and also some lahars still occurring in 2014, but it is small scale. So show you the primary hazards of the pyroclastic flow, or pyroclastic surge, and pyroclastic flow from the top of the volcano. It was actually caused by triggered by the collapse of the lava dome at that direction, and the city of Yogyakarta is located at that area. Yeah, it was not expected that the pyroclastic flow until 17 kilometers from the crater. Actually, this is that's why at the time it caused around 300 fatalities in that area. But caused by just after the eruption, the big early warning system and also the crisis management related to the evacuation process it was handled much better than in 1994 and also in the year of 2006. So we also have the eruption moderately explosive, but this actually closely linked with the water, with surface water, because of the presence of the lake at the crater. Yeah, actually it is not a direct eruption from the magma, but the presence of the magma can make the water in a high temperature. Yeah, increasing the temperature of the lake, and due to the high pressure of the water and the eruption can occur. Yeah, but with the absence of the magma, only in the vapor of the water, without ejection of the magma. The example of this eruption is the Bromo. It is very typical. It 2000, yeah, in the year of the 2000. This is some example of the phreatic eruption. Then we have what we call it a Plinian eruption of the Krakatoa in 1883. Actually, it was one of the biggest eruption in Indonesia that caused not only fatalities due to the volcanic ash, because of the presence of the volcanic ash prevent the radiation, solar radiation, go to the earth. Then lot of famine actually followed by the Krakatoa eruption. And then if we see here, we have actually the Krakatoa is actually located at the Rakata Island. Yeah, it was the map. It was in August 1883, and just after the eruption, yeah, the islands just and this actually the disappear of the island. Then but the son of the Krakatoa, yeah, anak Krakatau is now growing and now still also active. Yeah, but the problem actually we have very density population at that area because it's located at Sunda Strait, and we have a Java Island here and the Sumatra, and then here actually the center of the transportation of the put it from Sumatra to Java. That's why the monitoring system of the Krakatoa is very important, but there is no no perfect monitoring system at that area. So this is actually what happening in the Krakatoa. And also Tambora in 1815, yeah, because of very big eruption of Tambora, and caused a lot of famine also at that period. And one of the biggest eruption of the catastrophic eruption, the formation of the volcano of Toba. Yeah, we have a very big lake of volcano of Toba, but it occurred in 75,000 before present. And as I mentioned previously, that lahars is one of the common secondary hazards occurring just after the eruption. This is actually the southern part of Morapi, and it was actually triggered by the heavy rainfall, because we have the monsoon period from October to April. That's the peak of the rainfall is also occurring in January and February, and during this period, the lahar occurrence is very high. So if we see of the presence, yeah, the occurrence of the lahars is not only known as potential hazards, but also you can see here some people are attracted to see what happening. Actually, some of them make some tourists of the hazards. That is very dangerous, because a lot of the people do not know about the behavior of the lahar flows. And if you see the right part of this area, it is located at the southwestern part of Morapi volcano. This is actually the lahar occurred just 2 months after the eruption. This is only to show you. I don't know. Sorry. It's not working. Okay. Actually, just to show you how the lahars is occurring. This is an image taken by our colleague, colleague of Jean-Christophe, Frank David. They did research at the Sungai volcano. and we can see that the non-Newtonian flow of lahar composed by the blocks, the boulders, and also some smaller materials, but it's very dense. Yeah, this is actually a very destructive. Yeah, all the infrastructure, the bridge, and also some protection, saboda, what we call it, the dam, is also easily destroyed by this lahar. So this is the challenge, how the people are working on this kind of hazards. So after having understand about the hazards, the threat, and some other consequences of the eruption, we are now moving to the presence of the resources and also the culture around the volcano in Indonesia. Due to the very fertile of the soil, the rich of the silicate, and also the sand ejected during the eruption, it makes that the volcanic landscape is very fertile. That's also attract the people to living in the volcanic landscape, and also to make some agriculture. We have the agriculture activity, which need a lot of water, and also we have tobacco plantation, and this is actually the area of Dieng, and one of very intensive agriculture area in the volcanic landscape. That's why if we see the volcanic landscape and also the human occupation is very close relation. So that's why in the volcanic area there are a lot of people are living there, and also take some advantage of the resources. However, that the area of the volcano is also still high risk, that the people sometimes is not understand about the risk. So actually the challenge how to deal with the people, how to deal with the local people, how to understand, how to make them understand with the risk. But the problem sometimes of the lacking of the ownership of the land, so they have no choice, that they have to live at the risky area. Another resources that we have actually at Bromo, and this one at the Morapi volcano, about the volcanic tourist activity. There are so many tourists that who are very interested at the volcano, but nowadays the problem actually for the infrastructure, and also some capacity of the touristic area compared to number of the tourists. So actually we have some research on the tourist development and at the volcanic area, showing that the people, the tourists that are coming to the volcano are not understand what is going on in the volcano. Some research showing that our research showing that the people are coming from different part of Indonesia, and also a lot of them come from the lower part, and the coastal and the lowland area. So it makes that some understanding of the behavior of the volcano is still very limited. In the same time, the facilities of provided by the government, the infrastructure, the evacuation route is also very limited. And also the energy, the geothermal. We have some geothermal power plant at the Dieng area, but it's still in the small scale, providing the energy for part of the central of Java. But the challenge actually how to increase the capacity of the power of the geothermal, because of the maintenance is very expensive due to the sedimentation at the pipe actually. So in order to understand the demographic condition of the volcanic area, we actually together with our colleague from France and also Jean-Christophe at that previous year, some years ago, we have some research at that volcano in order to map all the villages at the Morapi volcano, because the issue during the evacuation actually we do not know, and we have no idea about how many people located in some area. So how many people we don't have any idea, and also the disabled people we don't have the idea. So the idea of this project, it was actually dedicated to map all the villages at the Morapi volcano, around the Morapi volcano at 4 districts, and identify the disabled people, the vulnerable group of the people, in order to make some proper crisis management measure. And actually, sorry, it's still in France. Yeah, I would like to jump directly on the development of the database of. This is one of the example that we are doing at the Morapi volcano. Actually, in order to make the understanding about the distribution of the people and how to deal with the group of the vulnerable of people, we developed some demographic data at the sub-village level, at the sub-village level, and all the facilities that can be used as the evacuation route, for example. And this data is very important for us because Morapi is the only volcano that we have the data in very detail. Yeah, and within 900 polygon, actually it was very big issue, because 900 polygon of sub-village level is quite huge. So the methods that we developed, actually we have what we call it student community services. Yeah, student community services. Actually, the program is mandatory course for the undergraduate student at UGM, in order to work with the community, in order to work multidisciplinary with the community. The student from engineering work with social sciences, work with health, student from medicine, etc., and then work together and in order to solve the problem at the community. So the method, actually we combine the student community services with the participatory mapping, and we are working actually with the community leader. Yeah. So for example, we were doing live digitizing at the field directly with the GPS, and also because there is no written and official map of the sub-village, we work with the community leader in order to map the border of each village, and also we make some data inventory of the people there. So during 3 years, the data is completed, and we provide the data to the government. Because when the eruption occurring, the problem actually how to deal with some resources. For example, the government would like to provide some logistic. We didn't have any idea about how many people living there, how many children there, and etc. This is actually very important for us to provide some very detailed information regarding to the logistic issue. So this is actually some project with the student. So actually, the student have to live in the community during 2 months. This is the group of the student working in a group. Working group to solve in a specific problem. It is very common in Indonesia, and especially in UGM, we have this student community service as the compulsory course within 3 credit. Yeah. So we last June we deploy around 6,000 students from Sumatra to Papua in order to work in different issue. Yeah, issue of the poverty, for example, conflict, the issue of water shortage, and etc. This is actually depend on the request of the local government, and it is actually jointly funded by local government, industry, and some agencies. So this is actually the result of the map produced resulted by the student community services combined by participatory mapping. We have around 909 sub-villages in 4 districts actually. So this is actually thanks to Jean-Christophe, who introduced us of the participatory 3D mapping. We actually did this project through the Miavita project in 2011 in western part of Morapi. Maybe Jean-Christophe later on can talk about this in short. Maybe actually we would like to educate the children how to understand what's going on in their village. For example, the presence of the river here that are very prone to lahar, so they will understand about the location of their home related to the source of the hazards, and also the group of the vulnerable people, which is indicated by some sign here. So this is the example of the map that we developed with the community. Yeah, altogether with the community, with very easy material that we can find in the village, and with some easy legend that we can understand. So all this thing is developed together with the community. I think this is the end of my presentation. Maybe we can discuss later on. Maybe if you still have time. So Christophe,
yeah,
thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Danang. Yeah, any queries, comments, questions?
Please.
So, for the student community services, it's apparent that this kind of volcano disasters are kind of incorporated into university law. So, do you see that? Do you reckon this is something that's being demanded by the public, or is something that enabled by the volcanic on the omnipresence of natural hazards, and then there's some kind of political will to sort of incorporate this kind of management and mediation into the city of education, for example? Or do you see that that's something that landscape, and then it's a result of interaction between human and landscape, therefore culture assimilating, adopting to the landscape?
Yeah. Talking about the student community service, I would like to provide some more introduction. Actually, it was established in 1970, this program, initiated by UGM at the time. And it was dedicated to provide some teacher, because it, especially in eastern part of Indonesia at the time, because of the lack of education of the people at eastern part of Indonesia, and then this policy of the university is followed by the government, become the national policy. Now the student community services become national policy of the entire university in Indonesia as a part of the community development. And then since 2007 we established what we call it student community services community empowerment, especially for the community empowerment. Actually, the topic of the hazards, the topic of the disaster is only one subject. That one subject of the different topic that we develop, because the topic of the student community service is quite broad. right? But depending on the need of the community, in some area who are lacking the water, they need student community service related to the water resources. In some area, we develop some micro hydro for providing the electricity, for example. It depends on the need of the community, and also depend on the need of the government. And since some disaster are occurring in Indonesia, so because the area is so big, Indonesia is so big, the need is very high, but the resources that we have is very limited. So we thought that the student community service can one of the solution to provide some services to the community, not only for the mapping actually, but there are some topic, for example, to educate the children by using the comic, for example, to understand the type of the disaster. Of course, we need some training of the students. Students need some knowledge about that. So that's why before going to the field, we have some training about, this is actually what we are doing. And related to the link between the culture and the landscape, in some area of Indonesia, especially, I think it's not only Indonesia, but some part of the world, they have what we call it the indigenous knowledge, that the people how to understand the behavior of the volcano. For example, in Dieng, the people, because the type of the hazards and the volcanic hazards in Dieng actually relate to the gas, the poisonous gas. So the people understand how to deal with actually. So because the gas, especially in the CO and CO2, is not visible, so the people sometimes they burn, they make some burning something to make a fire. Then the fire, if the fire, for example, is gone, it indicates that the CO and CO2 is high. This is actually what the people are doing to understand. And in some area also, for example, for Morapi volcano, it was the people also understand the sign. For example, if some animal coming down from the top of the volcano to the villages, it means that the temperature is increasing, and also some sign of a disaster will be happen. But it's very challenging because of the understanding of the people in one and another place is very diverse, and also what is challenging actually on the level of the community-based risk management system or the community-based early warning system is also very challenging, because sometimes we have some information that is not valid, that can be going very wide in every place. Yeah.
Do you see that kind of environment, this kind of volcanic environment and hazard-prone environment of Indonesia contribute to the city Yogyakarta to become city of education? I mean, that's 150 universities, something like that. It's a lot.
No.
In a city.
I don't think it's close. I don't think it's directly influence of the education of Yogyakarta, because of why the Yogyakarta is attracted for the education, because the main business of Yogyakarta is education and tourism actually. For the education, because of the establishment of the UGM at the first time, and also it's also linked with because of the Jakarta is a special province. At the same time, we have the governor, who is also the king of the Jakarta. So this is actually one of the character of the culture, and also because of the national policy at the time, the establishment of of UGM is because of the political condition after the Independence Day. That signed that the president signed that UGM is far away from the political center at Jakarta. That's why the education is established in Jakarta with development of a lot of university. So it's not direct link with the presence of volcano.
Okay. Then how do you identify your partner communities in this student partnership program? Do community leaders come and see you and tell you, okay, we need some support? Or?
Yeah, it's very interesting, Christoph, because of in the community level, it's quite sometimes it's quite challenging to find the community leader, because we have two type of leader. Maybe you from anthropology you can deal with. Actually, we have what we call it informal community leader, like in Morapi we have guardian, yeah. And secondly, we have also a formal community leader, yeah, what we call chief of the village. It is a formal community leader, but we have to deal with actually both, yeah, because sometimes the formal community leader they are recognized by the government as the formal. We have the structure, but in the community sometimes the informal community leader, like religion community leader, is more respected than the people. That's we have to deal actually.
And who makes the first step usually when you identify those partner communities?
We have actually we have go through the community and we make some approach, some interview, some discussion with the people, and so with the key person actually we we have the culture at the community of the social gathering. We go to the social gathering, meet them, and make the interaction and discuss with them, and then we identify some active people to deal with actually in the social gathering. Social gathering actually is very common in our. It's very regular meeting at the people.
And is it a long term? Sorry. Is it a short term or a long term partnership? Because you're talking about empowerment, and empowerment is difficult to appraise and to measure and to assess, especially on the short term. So
yeah, it is actually, this is a long term process. Long term process cannot. It is actually a long term process. It cannot be done in very short period, because we have a lot of steps of that. We just recognizing, for example, in the first introduction we introduce how important is the map. Yeah, the map and the importance of the map, for example, and then we have some series of meeting with the people. For example, the first year only attract the attention of the people, and the second year we identify, and second year we intensify the meeting with chief of the village, because you know that sometimes there is a conflict between one village to another about the border. Yeah, we have to go directly to the field with two adjacent villages. With one community leader and another, and go together, discuss about the border. So we bring our we bring our GPS in the field and discuss which is the border and etc. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. And then during the meeting to establish the final map is quite a big debate on that, because it's linked to the presence of the resources that they have. Yeah. Some people, for example, the river is part of the source of the resources. For example, this is very sensitive.
Okay. From some of your slides, I was asked some kind of risk habitation. Despite the risk of volcano, people stay close to the landscape of.
Yeah.
So perhaps because of the benefit in terms of agriculture or otherwise. And for the fact that the state, it kind of developed kind of a risk tolerance towards that hazard. So how does that one affect disaster preparedness in Morapi?
Yeah. We have actually 3 zones of Morapi. This is what we call it the highly risk of the pyroclastic, and the second one of lahar and pyroclastic, and this one actually in the city which is prone to lahar, the secondary hazards. So how to deal with this issue? Actually, Yeah, it is known that some people, they have no choice about the availability of the land, yeah, because of the only land that they have is in this part of the area. First, second one, linked to the resources, yeah, the presence of the water. The groundwater is very good quality in the abundant, in the good quantity. Because of that, they can make some plantation and some farm at the upper part of the area. In the same time, it is very challenging for the evacuation. Related to the preparedness of the Morapi, the government established early warning system. Yeah, early warning system in different area, in different part of these villages, in order to provide alert during the high crisis, for example. And in the same time, now our government developed the what we call it evacuation route with a good sign. But the problem actually is linked to the exploitation of the resources, the mining which destroy in some road. Yeah, this is in the same time the government provide evacuation route, but in another side the exploitation of the mining, of the sand mining. But since eruption 2010, a lot of association developed by the community is quite active. And for example, in before 2010, a lot of early warning system was installed without without involving the people. So with the high technology, sophisticated instrument is meaningless without involving the people to install this instrument, to make them understand what's the using of this instrument. So I would say that not only the technology but also the social engineering is very important in order to make them aware and make them understand to deal with the preparedness. Yeah. Please.
I'm really impressed with this map and how much data is actually in there and how fine detailed it is. And I'm wondering where is this map being kind of practically applied? Is the government using this to gear where they put in new early warning systems, or how they build their evacuation routes? And I'm just curious how this is being used to guide future work.
Yes, very good question. Yes. It was a very ambitious project that we developed from the university, because to be honest, there is no, at that time there is no initiative from the government to provide the very detailed map that we need to the community. For example, just to provide some logistic, we can provide the wrong logistic, for example, because of there are a lot of children. We provide another thing. Yeah, that's why it was in 2007 we started the project in order to anticipate the future eruption. We didn't know when the eruption will take place, but we have to deal with. It was in 2007 we started this project with the group of the students, and we go to the community to develop this small group of students. I had at the time only 20-25 students working on that, starting from one village and to develop this map. And then we start in every year. In every year we can deal with only maybe 2 or 3 villages in total maybe with 50 sub villages, yeah, at the time. And we make a proposal to the university to provide the support. And then in 2010 we did half, and it was the big eruption that, so we stopped project. So the project we shift to the crisis management, to helping the people, to provide a refugee center, etc. at the university at the time. And then after a crisis is slowed down, we started again with also cooperation with our colleague from France at the time. Then we invite the government to join. Finally, at PNPP, the National Agency of Disaster Management, they keen to join this project, and they provide some facilities, some instruments, some facilities of this. And finally at 2011-2012, the government led this project by the initiative of our university. Then provide some facilities, and now the data, we provide all the data to the university. So it is quite challenging because we have to collect all the information from the chief of the village, sub-village, because the government doesn't have the data, any data about the community inside. So we have to deal with the communication of the chief of the sub-village, collect all the phone number of the cousins. We have so we have a meeting every day with them, and we have questionnaire to be filled. With the student, we make some interview with the chief of the village to fill all the demographic data, all the infrastructure that they have, all the resources that they have, everything. So this is now the issue actually how to update the data is still the issue. Yeah. So yes, please.
Yes. I want just to make reference to one of his work. He talked about participatory mapping. So I don't really know how much you involved the community itself, just like students develop the mapping, give to the community or to the government. So how much involvement with those people actually involved, or people faced with this risk involved in drawing this map?
So the role of the student is facilitators. The role of the student is the facilitators and the translating the community map into the I would say georeference map. This is what the students are doing. And during actually we have series of what we call it focus group discussion with the people, and actually with different village, sub-village, actually we got the data from the community leaders and also some other. For example, we got the data from chief of the village, but some other people there provide some correction or some validation of the information that they provide. Yeah, because the social bonding in the community is very good, very high. So they recognize all the community living in that village. So the main source of the information actually come from the local people. So actually the flavor of participatory base is very high actually. Otherwise we have a lot of difficulties. It's not possible to develop with a very short period 900 polygon at that area. And some people at the beginning still resistant for that project that we have to deal with. It's not long process actually. And now the challenge actually how to update the data. And this is actually the role of the government now. We just provide the but up to now the data should be we make agreement with the government that the data have to update every 5 years.
What kind of participatory mapping did you use for this one?
What do you mean?
Did you use sketch maps or did you use?
Yeah, we have sketch. Actually, we have a very big because we have very high resolution, resolution image. We forecast this image, and then with this image we deal with the community.
So they plotted on an aerial photo.
Very high aerial photo. Very high. We get from the government because this project is very important. We get the government of very high resolution image. The data, the GOI data, so very high. So we make some area depending on the village actually.
And what kind of information did the people actually add to the image?
The information, yeah. Actually, the border of the most important thing, and the beginning, the most important thing actually, the border of the sub-village. That's the most important one, because after that, after we create the polygon, we add all the information inside. of the polygon. For example, the number of the habitant, the elderly people, maybe the disabled people, for example, yeah, something like that, and also the resources that they have, yeah. Well, because of now they have a familial piece of what we call it evacuation system. So they are now have the methods, good methods actually for evacuation, this resource sharing. For example, in 10 families, one family have a motorbike, one family have car, etc. They have to share with actually. So for example, my family have to share with your family, for example. Your family have a truck, for example, we have to share. So we inventory all this kind and who going with which family, for example. But the simulation is very interesting during the crisis. Please.
How do you deal with the changes? I mean, the property of the people will change, the number of people will change. How do you update?
That's why the data have to be updated in every 5 years, and we make agreement with the government for every year. Every year the data have to be updated, so that every 5 years we have to deal with the community. That's also very challenging. Yes.
How varied or diverse are the communities that you're dealing with on this map? Because I know, like, say in Papua New Guinea, for example, you're going to have very maybe linguistically very distinct tribes very close to one another. Is it similar here? Do the people speak much the same language? Do they have much the same social structures and things, or do you have to vary your approach in different areas?
Luckily, the language is same. Luckily, and the culture is quite same, quite similar. This is luckily. That's why, in order to apply in different regions of Indonesia, we have to adapt with the local people. For example, in the Sumatra, at the Sinapung, it's not so easy to apply this method there. We have to make some adjustments because the culture is different. Yeah. For example, the people. For example, with dealing with working together is not so easy as in Morapi, for example. Yeah.
Could you tell us more about sand quarrying following the 2010 eruption?
Yeah.
Has it gone huge, or how is it going now?
The sand mining until now still occurring. Yeah, still occurring, but there is some limitation of the government, for in some area, but still, actually, still the sand mining is still active now. We have two problem regarding to sand mining. If, for example, there is no mining at all, because the problem is for the next eruption. It's quite challenging because of all the materials have to be clear from the valley in order to allow the sediment and the next sediment can flow again in the same river. But now the sand mining the problem is not concentrated at the river, but also they extend to adjacent area that makes some destruction of land degradation. Yeah.
Is it small scale or is it large companies?
It was large scale, but now the government, all the machine of the sand mining is not allowed now, and only small scale is allowed by using the hand. Otherwise, there will be the monopoly of some company actually.
So how does it work? Are there middlemen coming to the villages and buying the sand and the stones, or do people go to Jogja and then sell there?
No, actually the sand is not only for the Jogja, but also sell to other city. So this is actually the very long chain of the business actually. The investor, the industry, they have the local people to deal with everything, to manage everything, but all the capital coming from outside. That's why the local people is only a worker, only the worker. That's the problem actually. Yeah, not tax benefit as they have to. Please.
Thanks, Danang, for a great presentation. What I know is that there's actually a provincial border here.
Yes.
Between Central Java and
Yes.
Java and Jogja.
Yes.
So my question is, how does that affect your risk mapping? Do you only do it in Jogja province?
No.
And then does it make collaboration difficult across provincial governments?
Yeah, actually we deal with the government of Yogyakarta and Central Java, Pak. And also we deal with the 4 different districts, 4 different kabupaten actually. Sleman, Klaten, Boyolali, and Magelang. So we have meeting in every region. We don't have, the meeting is every region actually, not all the regions, but we combine all the map. It's not possible to have for everyone, but in the last establishment of the map, we invite all of them to the workshop actually, in the big workshop to make socialization of the map.
When you talk about the government taking ownership of routine 5-year updating, does it have to be with the national government then, because you're coordinating across provinces and districts?
Yeah, at the first time we deal with national government, with PNBP, Pak, with PNBP, because PNBP provide a lot of commitment for us, for UGM, and they encourage UGM to extend actually, not only for Morapi, but for other volcanoes. But we are limited of the human resources in terms of the quantity. And we actually last month we met with national government of the Kepala PNBP, the chief of the National Board of Disaster Management, in order to empower the local university and the local government to develop this one. And we are ready to involve actually. But the actor is not us as UGM, but the local university. So that's why the disaster management program that we develop at UGM have to empower the local people and link with the local community, with the industry and some actors in order to ensure the sustainability. Yeah, this is not big, not so easy, but we have to deal with.
So what are some of the challenges there, especially because the new paradigm is decentralization. And so for a national coordinating body to empower just provincial governments and local universities, there's got to be challenges there.
Yeah.
Tell us something about it.
Exactly. But for example, the structure of the national government who are dealing with disaster management, the PNBP, what we call it PNBP, National Board for Disaster Management, they have at the national level, but they have direct link with the local level. The function of the PNBP actually for the normal condition as the coordination, and also some not only coordination but some order to the local government, local PPBD at the local government to deal, because the people who are working at the at the provincial and also district level, they are direct order with the central government. It's quite little bit different with how to deal with the local government, because the order is from national government, and also during the crisis, PNBP is become the top leader. Every institution have to follow PNBP, even the military. That it was not the case at years ago.